Impactful message from Alcaraz before debuting in Paris. Carlos Alcaraz, facing his least favorable court. There are others who are better than me. The world number one will make his debut against Norrie in the Paris Masters 1000, a tournament in which he has never gone beyond the quarterfinals. After withdrawing from the Shanghai Masters 1000 following his victory in Tokyo, Carlos Alcaraz arrives much more rested than usual at the Paris Masters 1000, the last tournament of the year before the ATP Finals and the Davis Cup. In the French capital, where the Mercian has reached the sky twice at Roland Garros, he has also lived his own indoor nightmare. Carlitos has never gone beyond the quarterfinals in this Masters. In 2021 he reached the round of 16, in 2022 he achieved his best result, in 2023 he lost in his debut, and in 2024 he fell again in the round of 16. I don't think I'm bad playing indoors, it's just that there are others who are better than me. The Paris tournament hasn't gone well for me, but I'm getting more and more used to playing on this surface, he said at a press conference. That said, with the change of venue this year and a much slower court, Alcaraz dreams of reaching at least the semi-finals, which would guarantee him the world number one spot. The court is totally different from last year, it's slower and that will allow more rallies. It won't all depend on the serve, we'll be able to show our tennis, he explained. Despite having won 5 of the 7 matches he has played against Norrie, his indoor statistics reveal the difficulties he faces. On indoor courts, he wins 70.5% of his matches, while on grass, 89.7%, clay, 84.4%, and outdoor hard courts, 83.1%, his effectiveness is higher. Unexpected change for Alcaraz before his debut in Paris. Carlos Alcaraz's best kept secret to fix his weak point? Carlos Alcaraz has weaknesses, but one of them is playing on fast indoor courts. To fix that, he has built a court in El Palmar that replicates the conditions he'll face in tournaments like this week's Paris Masters 1000. It's hard to think of a weakness in Carlos Alcaraz. The Mercian is the world number one, and much of that is because he is an almost perfect tennis machine. At barely 22 years old, he has polished his game to a level rarely seen at that age, and after winning many titles, including 6 Grand Slams, the only thing that can be said of him is that the sky is the limit. But as always, there's room for improvement, and in his case, it's the surface that has historically caused him the most trouble. Like most Spanish players, he grew up on clay, so that's where his game comes most naturally. He also excels on grass, where he has become a master in very little time. But if there's one surface that troubles him, it's the fast court, particularly indoors. A well-kept secret: the excessive speed usually found indoors prevents him from fully developing his game, which has made things difficult for him in the season finales, especially in the Paris Masters 1000 and the ATP Finals, 2 tournaments still missing from his record. To change that, he took a drastic step, building himself an indoor court in El Palmar to train for this kind of event. It's a fast court that the Carlos Alcaraz Academy built specifically for him inside a warehouse near the Mercian town. From his team and entourage, they prefer not to publicize its exact location, and only a few people know it, all to protect the privacy of such a popular figure. The facility is a fortress, featuring a private gym, physiotherapy room, and locker rooms, allowing him to train and spend more time at home. In fact, he now spends more time in El Palmar and less in Vienna, at Juan Carlos Ferrero's academy where he trained for years. Carlos Alcaraz on the schedule before debuting at the Paris Masters 1000. The number of tournaments we have to play is too high. The issue of the ATP calendar is not new. For weeks, several players have complained about the number of tournaments and matches they must play with little rest. As the season nears its end, fatigue begins to accumulate. One of the most vocal players is world number one Carlos Alcaraz. Concentrating on the Paris Masters 1000, the year's final Masters event, the Spaniard once again expressed his opinion about the schedule. I don't have an exact number of matches we should play, I can't say an exact figure, but obviously, they need to do something about the calendar, the Mercian stated before his debut in the French capital. The number of tournaments we have to play is too high. We don't have enough time to train and rest. Even during the season, it's week after week, and we don't have the opportunity to have a week to properly prepare for the tournaments or what's ahead, Alcaraz declared. Carlos Alcaraz already has a date for his debut in Paris. Carlos Alcaraz already has the date for his debut at the 2025 Paris Masters 1000, where he will aim to secure his position as world number one through the end of the season. Alcaraz continues pursuing his main goal for the rest of the year, keeping the world number one ranking. Just a few months after achieving it, the Mercian still has it within reach, although the injury he suffered at the Tokyo ATP 500 made him miss Shanghai and lose key points that would have practically sealed the deal. However, he now faces the toughest stretch of the season for him, the European indoor hard-court swing. The Paris Masters 1000 and the ATP Finals will be decisive in the battle between Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner for the year-end top spot. Starting with Paris, Alcaraz has already been training for 3 days on the new court at La Défense Arena, which replaces the Accor Arena in Bercy. He has practiced with Karen Khachanov, Arthur Rinderknecht, and this Sunday with Jiri Lehecka. He's noticed that the court is slower, which significantly increases his chances. Still, one step at a time. First comes the debut. A tough debut. As the tournament's top seed, Alcaraz will make his debut on Tuesday, October 28, against the winner of the match between Sebastian Baez and Cameron Norrie. Since this is one of the only two Masters 1000 events played in a single week, Baez and Norrie will play on Monday, with the winner facing Alcaraz. If he wins, he'll rest on Wednesday before the round of 16, and then he'll play daily matches through to the final. Paris is one of only 3 Masters 1000 tournaments Alcaraz hasn't yet won, along with Canada and Shanghai, and this year he'll have another shot. If he wins it, he'll be guaranteed to remain world number 1 until the Australian Open. Even reaching the final would likely be enough to secure that honor and fend off Sinner's challenge. Alcaraz and Sinner to meet in South Korea before the Australian Open. According to the South Korean newspaper The Chosen Daily, the Spaniard and the Italian will face off at the Hyundai Card Super Match exhibition on January 10. Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner already have a new date to face each other again on a tennis court. While they might meet in competition at the Paris Masters 1000 or the Nitto ATP Finals, Alcaraz and Sinner will play an exhibition in South Korea just before the Australian Open. According to The Chosen Daily, they will meet on January 10 at the Inspire Arena in Incheon for the Hyundai Card Super Match. Although there is no official confirmation from the organizers yet, both Alcaraz and Sinner posted on social media an image with their signatures and the Hyundai Card Super Match logo, along with the same caption, "See you in Korea." Even though it's an exhibition, tennis fans can already look forward to a guaranteed clash between Sinner and Alcaraz in early 2026, before a possible official match at the Australian Open, the only Grand Slam where they haven't yet met. Fabio Fognini defends Jannik Sinner after his withdrawal from the Davis Cup Finals in Bologna. In an Instagram story, Fognini wrote, "As a player, I understand his decision to finish 2025 on a high note and prepare for 2026. Asked by followers about the issue, the former world number 9 justified Sinner's decision. "I think it's totally understandable. As a player, I understand his decision to finish 2025 on a high note and prepare for his real goals in 2026, he said. Being a key figure for Italy's Davis Cup victories over the past 2 years, Fognini extended his defense of Sinner. "He's 24 years old, an age where he'll surely have another 100 opportunities to raise our beloved flag high." Sinner himself was brief when asked about the controversy. "I can only say that I accept all criticism. I've already said everything about this topic, and I have nothing more to add," said the Italian, in comments collected by Uba Tennis for Sky Italia, surely appreciating his compatriot's support. The tough statistic worrying Alcaraz at the Paris Masters 1000. The Mercian faces his 5th attempt in a tournament that has historically been an impossible mission for Spanish players, and in which he has never gone beyond the quarterfinals. The Paris Masters 1000 has been incredibly hostile to Spanish tennis players. In fact, throughout the event's history, there has only been one Spanish champion, David Ferrer in 2012. Even the great Rafa Nadal was booed on several occasions when playing on the city's fast court, and he only managed to reach one final, where he lost to Argentine David Nalbandian. So far, Carlos Alcaraz has shared the same fate as his compatriots. The Mercian enters his 5th appearance in an event where he has never surpassed the quarterfinals. Last season, he was eliminated in the round of 16 by local player Ugo Humbert.